All right. Good morning. We're live on all the streams. We got the Discord's loading up here. Going to take just a second for that. It likes to mess with me a little bit in the morning, so you got to get that microphone turned back on. All right. Good morning, Discord peeps. Let me go ahead and share my screen for you guys. Please let me know if you can see and hear me. We're going to do a little bit of live trading today, and we'll do some. We're gonna do some stuff. So let me go ahead and just arrange my windows on my other monitor here because it gets a little bit crazy. So I do have WINT. I bought this one at I want to say like maybe 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern last night. Austin popped in and was kind of pointing it out, and I was like, oh, I really do like that. So I got some about 7:46 p.m. Eastern, but I am going to sell it. I don't want to hold this one personally. I got my 3% for the day basically. So let me just go ahead and sell that. I'll set a sell order here at like 87 cents or something. Well, what do you guys think? Should we do 87 or 90 cents? Why don't you guys throw that in the chat? Also, let me pull up the actual voice channel chat. What's up, B. Michelle? How's it going? Good morning. How's your Tuesday? Got a little surprise coming for you guys next week, by the way, but it's a secret. It's a secret unless you're in the Discord. And actually, if you're on social media, let me put that link in here in the chat channel. So that's free. It's 100% free to join. Just hop in here. We do these streams every Tuesday and Thursday. Every Monday and Friday, I stream in premium. And then Mad Maverick or Lee, he streams on Wednesdays. And then we have the lifetime streams on top of that. And the coaching streams on top as well. B. Michelle, I'm in the Discord. I want to know the secret. Where is it posted? Well, I'm going to tell you to your face. Just kidding. I'll put it here in the chat. Let me just type it out here. You guys are gonna like this. Oh, what's up, Tammy? All right. There we go. Make it nice and big for you guys. That's the secret. So I think you guys will be pretty excited about that. Not this week, but next week. Next week. Hey, what's going on, Eddie? Eddie. How you living, buddy? How's your trading going? Am I sick? No. No, I want better for you. It was it's actually a pretty interesting idea. I think it'll be pretty good. But it's a secret. It's secret, so don't go blabbing on social media about it. We got you all to sign an NDA. No, Duco. No, you're not too late. I remember yesterday you popped in right at the end after we slammed our 7% for the day, asking if you were missing anything. Just Thursday, Bevnet. Going to have my well-deserved vacation. No, I don't do those. The family does. I do them once, like maybe once a year, maybe twice. But I'd rather be here. This is my vacation. Don't tell the wife. No, I like you guys. You guys are nice to me. Eddie says, going good. I had a 2% hit on SONN yesterday immediately before it plummeted, so I'm happy. That's beautiful, man. So if I switch back over to SONN, we traded that one in our premium stream. And I always post, well, I can't say always, but I've started posting videos the last week or two of my live trades. So I clip the live trades, the entries, exits, and anything I find relevant. So we were watching this one and we got the breakout. We traded that one, reduced it going into market open. And then right around market open, I caught a piece of this. So I added to it and then sold. And then I sold the remainder of it. Well, I sold most of it at 6% profit. That's what I do. It's part of my specific strategy. And then I sold the rest of it literally maybe 2 or 3 seconds before the halt, that first halt. And I think some of you guys got stuck in it for the leg up there, and I hope none of you got stuck in the leg down, but we made it very clear that it was time to get out. So it's pretty good. Hey, alarm clock, how you doing? Good morning, buddy. Hey, my alarm clock. It just basically just tells me it's time to start looking at pre-market stuff because I want to get it before auction cross. Ideally before auction cross. So with this, okay, I put about $81 into this trade, which means I've got about $152.73 left, I believe. So I'll put $75 into the next 2 trades, and I'm just going to do those 2 trades for the day. But at this point, again, if I wasn't live streaming and I wasn't sharing all this stuff with you guys, you know, in the mornings, I would be done for the day because I hit my 3% goal for the day, and that compounds very well, 250 plus times a year. So what's up, Stickman? How you doing? Yes, Tammy, Wednesday as well. Yes. So Bibnet, I apologize. Yes, Wednesday and Thursday. You are correct. My brain just shut off. You've all been carrying a big load. Well, thank you, Kenny. I appreciate it. We're all we're trying to make this place as special as possible for you guys to make sure you guys get everything you need. Oh, sorry about that, Duco. Well, you're in lifetime, so that's the other. Might be the other half of that, buddy. So we'll chat. We'll chat in there. Are you able to hear? Sorry, guys. Just kind of chit-chatting here. So I am going to start watching some of the pre-market stuff. Actually, you know what? Let me just get rid of the... I'm just going to sell out of my WYNT right here. So I'm up 2.89, 2.98% for the day overall already. So I'm just going to let that cook, let it sell, and then I'm going to look for the top traders here. I got to change this over to pre-market. And it is time to start looking. We got Kappa. That's got some strength, but I don't like it. Not just yet. I don't like the order book on it. It's got these zone recovery algos. It's got multiple algos. They're going to consume each other. I just can't trust that it's going to go in my direction. So I got to wait just a little bit. It looks confident, but I want to see a stronger confirmation before I commit money to it. This one just kind of looks like it's in a range for now. May go down, may go up. I don't really know, and I don't care. My job is not to predict. I like this setup a little bit better. Let me just kick it down to the 1 minute here so we can see a little bit more clearly. I do kind of like this one. It's got a lot of chop, but this one has a lot of, like as cool as this would be. You know, this is a low float. You know, it's got twice as many shares restricted, so I got to be very careful. It's still in a range, and I'd rather trade something when it's going up, right? I don't really like sideways stuff as much for this particular type of trade, like this approach in the mornings. Ooh. Actually, I do kind of like this one. All right, so for these, I'm just going to put $75 buys in when it's time. I will let you guys know as soon as I place that buy order, but I'm going to wait just a little bit. So again, what I'm looking for specifically, and if you get, this is not like super secret sauce here. I'm just showing you guys basic volume analysis. I'm looking for a candle to do this and then stall at the top and then break over. Okay. And I sell at a flat 6%. So I get my, my 3% target overall, which again, I've already kind of hit today, so I don't really have to trade. And if I wasn't live streaming, ooh, okay. So it's stalling here at the top of these candles. So I'm going to go ahead and put my mouse over this button here, and I'm just going to wait for a break over this level right here. It's going to go up or down, right? So if it goes down, I don't get in. If it goes up, then we have ourselves a little trade. And my target on that would be 194. So let's see if we're actually going to go up or not. And there's that. So now we just kind of hang out. Sorry, let me catch up on the chat here. I'm so horrible. How does one join lifetime? I don't see an option to get that under premium. So that you really want to talk to Nikki about, and it looks like she responded, or V Michelle, sorry. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and get into KAPA right here. And I got filled, so it's 184. Let me just go ahead and set my sell target here. Sorry. So that's going to be a sell order of 195, and this is a little bit high risk. So I just want to be very careful here. What did I say? That was 195? I'm so bad at the math here. 196. Okay. So 196, going to set that sell order. We're about to enter auction cross as well. So again, I just want a quick pop up here. I don't want to mess around with this one. I obviously don't want it to go down either, but it is what it is. We'll see which way it goes. I don't control that. And obviously, if it sells off down to here, you know, I have the other 75 if I want to add to it, but I probably won't. I might just take a hit on that one. I'm already kind of not liking what it's doing here. It really has to push up, so I might end up cutting this one. I don't know. We'll see how the auction cross goes, because the order book still supports or move to the upside. We're just expecting a little bit of a retrace here. Now, I don't want this to retrace and then have the volume fall off, because if that happens, the likelihood of that coming back up is pretty low, and I'll probably just take a hit on it. So we'll see which way it goes. Charlie, sound is back. Switch to phone, then back to computer, and it fixed itself. Yeah, sometimes the Discord just doesn't perform well when it goes cross device. Let me take a look here. I was just kind of thought. Oh, Chris M says, I bought BLMZ on my paper account in after hours, and the gains are hilarious. Oh, did you get it last night? BLMZ. Let's take a look at it. Oh, yeah, okay, 116% up. This is nice, nice. Yeah, see, I like this one, but I don't want this one to pull down. Like, this one's pulling down, which I'm okay with here, but I don't want it like down here, because that would be too big of a hit. So don't want to give all my profits back for the day. You have a real position now. You're just scalping the heck out of these, man. That's awesome. DVDEY03. How do I pronounce that? Is that David? David A03. So I have a question about WINT. Spell check called it won't. Bought at 80 cents yesterday, and you woke it already gone to $1 plus, then back to 79 cents. Did I miss the move? Do I miss it? So I wasn't able to set a sell order because I bought it on unsettled funds, and I had to wait till today to sell it. David Day, okay. And then I couldn't get on this morning to sell it when it was over $1. So by the time I got to my computer and was able to look at it, it was already kind of back down. So I just sold it it was like 5.5% up or something. So I missed the pop over $1 as well. But mine was because I couldn't set the sell order last night because I didn't want to risk a good faith violation. Typically, if you're going to hold anything overnight, it's always safer if you set your sell orders, in my opinion. Is there room to buy in again? That's entirely up to you, man. It's, I mean, this has a lot of volatility. You know, it really just kind of depends on what your strategy is. I can't really, I've already traded it. You know what I mean? Yes, there's always room, but you also have to look at the long-term picture here. I mean, this thing doesn't like to hold profits, but it has a lot of pop potential. So this is one where we're just looking, or at least I was just looking for a short-term hold on it. I wasn't looking to get married to it. So if the volume's there and it's got the push and pull, then I don't see any reason why not. You just have to manage your trade kind of your own way. So I do see potential here to the upside, but I also have to keep in mind that if I'm trading this, my job is to manage my risk. So, I mean, that's just the way I see it. Everyone's going to trade differently though, so you got to keep that in mind as well. The Mortgage Wizard. Hey, how's it going? I saw you join yesterday. How's everything going on your end? Anxious to get your thoughts on Stocks Buddy. Well, I wrote Stocks Buddy, so I think I'm going to be a little bit biased there. What kind of questions did you have about it? And also, did you get the free trial? If you didn't get the 5-day free trial, go ahead and open a support ticket. I'll put that in here. That's open for everybody. Everybody gets a one-time 5-day free trial for that, and premium as well, as long as we're able to run the premium one. I don't control that, but as long as we can, I would like to hold that open for you guys. V. Michelle's a fan. Okay, well, that's good. I'm glad you like it. No, I built that basically from my own brain. Like it's got a lot of features that I like to see, especially for newer traders. So it's got like the sensitivity settings. It's got the adaptive stop loss puck so that you don't, necessarily get stopped out early, but you also allow for bigger moves. And the trend envelope. So we got about 28 seconds here before market open. And again, I've got one rescue position for this stock. I've got my sell order already in place. So if it goes up, that's fine. If it goes down, I have one opportunity that I'm comfortable risking to recover this position. Otherwise, if I add that second buy and it continues to go down, I'll just cut it. But if it goes up, after that second buy, I'll reduce at break even or lower my target to a 3%. So I just get my 3% and I walk away. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, market is open. So what I'm not going to do is just throw my money at it right here because it hasn't done anything. Like I see a lot of traders do that, and that always hurts the soul. So even though this position is down, 10, 11, 12%, we're down 0.5% today because of the WINT. And I also have my hotkey here for this, if I wanted to do a second, actually, let me change that to 75. Or 70, I guess I can't do 75. That way, if I have to use the hotkey here, or like if I want to do a second scalp, I can do that. Otherwise, we'll just kind of chill out. I should be in line for next week. Not sure how to check. Okay. Yeah, the Mortgage Wizard. If you've claimed your spot on the wait list, Nikki will approve it Sunday night. So Sunday night, you'll get an email. You'll also get the roll here in the Discord saying that you're on the trial. Your name color will change as well. It's usually around like 6 or 7 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and place a second buy here on this one with a dedicated target just for those shares. We'll see what that does. Now, that might just be a pop. It might pull back a little bit, and that's okay, but I'm pretty confident here. Let me take a look at the chat here. Yeah, so if you're ever unsure, you can also open a support ticket or just reach out to Nikki. Just make sure that if you try to DM with a staff member that you click their name here in the server and that you don't respond to maybe one that's messaged you, just because a lot of scammers like to clone our accounts and they try to rip you guys off. So we don't like that. So this might hurt a little bit. We'll see. So one thing I am going to do right now is I'm going to adjust these sell orders a little bit. 79 times 1.8. So I got $142 in this stock right now. So let me think here. Yeah, you know what? I'll just leave it the way it is. And actually, let me just sell, or I'm going to cancel all these sell orders. Sorry. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to adjust my target here for 3% on all these shares. So I got 1.8 plus 3%. That's all I care about. So 185. So I'm going to just set a sell order here for 185. And then that way, all my shares sell at 3% if it continues to the upside. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up on all the chat here. Let me see here. So earlier. Okay, so Duco, you're able to hear now, hopefully. Chris, how's your BLMZ? How's that holding up? Oh, it pulled down too. Ooh, look at that. Just one of those mornings, guys. Oh, it's starting to get some support here. Well, not support. It's getting some buying here. You're out at a loss, but not terrible. Okay. Were you able to scale out at all? Yeah, Nikki's almost always around. It's insane. Ooh, this one halted. Sorry, my Discord is weird right now. Like the letters on my screen are like bouncing around. All right, V. Michelle, great hanging out for a bit. Got to run now. Later, peeps. All right, we'll see you then. Thanks for hanging out. We're just kind of stuck in this one for now, unfortunately, but I'm okay with it. That's kind of the nature of these high-risk fellas. The Mortgage Wizard says nothing in particular, just what you like or don't like about it. I think I would like it as a discipline tool. I will have to try it and find out. I mean, yeah, it's, that's kind of why we put the free trial out there. You guys can try it out, see if it's something that you like, or if there's, features you'd like to see in it. We're always open to feedback as well. XAGE. Ooh, okay. Kind of like that one. Nice little breakout. Oh, JWAG, is it your fault? It's your fault that it went down because you copy traded. No, that's just the way the market is. Because all those like pulled down pretty hard, except this one apparently. Yeah. So as far as Stock Buddy goes, I mean, check it out. It's a fun little indicator, and at the very least, it gives you kind of a filter, right? So if you see a setup you like, you see some levels that you like, you see a confirmation that you believe is confident, then you can, just use Stock Buddy as a final confirmation if you want. And then that way it's easy enough. Is it part of the 5 day? It's a separate thing altogether. So you can get 5 days of premium, and then you can also get 5 days of Stock Buddy. So when you do the Stock Buddy one, I believe that starts automatically. Like right then and there, as soon as you connect your TradingView and all that. So so if you're like the premium one, we make sure that you wait because we want to approve it so it goes Monday to Friday, so everyone gets a full week. Because we don't want someone to get the trial on like a Saturday and then the Discord kind of be slower and there's no live streams. So that's a timed one, but Stocks Buddy is just 5 days. So you can test it out on crypto over the weekend. You can test it on Forex, whatever else is open. Futures, if you're into that. Dugo says, I think when these pull down, my accounts get more hurt than when I was trading SPY. It's nice when they pop and I hit target, but I'm still losing weeks of 3% profits letting these pull down. Yeah, so in that case, if you're not comfortable with that kind of risk tolerance, or if it's not working out for you, it's always better for your mental health if you just set a stop loss immediately. So I have this control 9, set up with a buys at last and then it sells at a 6% take profit. You can add a stop loss component in there. I have a second hotkey set up just for that. So for this one, because of the signature that it has, I'm personally okay letting it pull down a little bit. And I understand that there is risk and I might take a hit on it. But if it was just something that, if it was something that I just wanted to go up like immediately, like let's say that I just had that in mind and the volume supported it, then I would just keep a tight stop. But this one, I'm personally comfortable with a little bit of tolerance. So it's just kind of one of those things, unfortunately. And I took the second buy here because of the volume. So I'm still pretty confident in this one. But I don't want anyone to copy. Like, just don't blindly copy. Just hurts after last week. That took more than all my weeks, 3% daily gains. Yeah, so in that case, it might be worth just using stop losses for a little while and just kind of building that confidence back. There's obviously no guarantee this is going to go up, but it's a risk that I've accepted beforehand, and that I can't accept that risk for you, unfortunately. So that's also why I kind of reduced my profit to just that 3% range. So all I need is a quick pop. Learn better by trying. The equity stuff is new. Okay, so in that case, what you can also do, right, because we have options when it comes to this stuff. You can also, to protect those profits, if you're ever going to let something draw down like this, you can make sure that your initial position is as small as possible. So that way you're not using, like I'm using half my portfolio. Well, in this case, I used a third because I had the overnight trade, and then the other half basically for my recovery or a second trade. And that's kind of what I did here. This is exactly the same trade that I took yesterday. It's just a different skin, and a different end result so far. So what time is 9:30? Okay, so this should actually be on halting here pretty soon. So to the second. Okay, there we go. So let's see if it gets bought up or if it continues to sell off. It's a low float pre-market runner trash stock. So it's got like 1 or 2 opportunities to really blast. Otherwise, that's probably just going to end up me taking a hit. Duco says, okay, I started with half, been doing half, trying to get that 6% on a half. Okay, so in that case, yeah, you could always just use stop losses, because if you use a tight stop loss on that half, whatever range that stop loss is also gets cut in half. So if it's like a 1% stop loss, you get 0.5% stop loss. So I'm also zoomed in super far here. CYCC and XAG. Yeah, Jesus, dude. So anyone who's not familiar with Lee's watch list in the morning, Mad Maverick here. Yeah, he put the link in the chat there. He had these two on his watch list there. And those are shiny. Those are shiny and nice. Good stuff. I like it. Look at it go. And that pretty consistently crushes. I just don't look at it like I should be. So congrats, man. Yeah, that CYCC is insane. And sometimes that's just where the volume goes. Like, that just is the nature of those market breaks. People are banking on XAGE and PROC. Yeah, PR, okay. That one kind of pulled back pretty hard, though. Mark had some more good news. Yeah, XAGE is the one that's not halted right now. So that one and CYCC are getting some of the attention there. ProKidney Corp FDA confirms phase 3 ProAct 1 study can be used for both accelerated approval and full approval. Okay. That's good stuff. We like the phase 3 news. So anyone who's not familiar with the PDUFA, that's a 5-phase process for the FDA to approve or reject medical treatments. Pathway of real parental and advanced chronic kidney disease and type 2 diabetes. That's good stuff, man. Now, there's a lot of competition in the diabetes and kidney disease space, so it's got to be kind of wow news. But it doesn't always have to be. It just has to be a volume 3 catalyst in a lot of cases, and that's more than enough for the market to just go crazy. If it's wow news, though, the likelihood for continuation is much higher. If it's not, then sometimes those profits just get given right back. So all it needs is a headline to give itself some volume. So, all right. Yeah, so right here, for example, right, we're watching this in real time. So what I like to look for is stuff that does this, and then stalls, and then a break. So we're just looking for a break like over this candle at this point. And if it doesn't happen, that's okay. But if we see another push up to here and then a stall, that means what it's doing is it's matching a bunch of orders. It's absorbing, there's a burn rate. And if that window is small enough, meaning that the burn rate is strong enough to overcome that, that batch of orders that's sitting there, then the likelihood of it breaking up is strong. Otherwise, you know, you tend to see these kinds of rejections. So it's a beautiful process. So watch right here. Yep, just popped right over that. Bloop. So getting in after it breaks up is much nicer than getting in kind of anticipating. So remember that line was right here. So if you got in like before that, you would have been sitting there in all that drawdown, and that doesn't feel good. But this is the kind of breakout we usually like in the morning. Ooh, that's a shiny pop, sir. That's going for high. Yep, there it goes. Nice. Popped up to $8. You're out of KAPA. Yeah. Yeah, so that one's down, right? It's down. It's not doing so hot right now, but you know, again, I'm comfortable with the risk. If you're not, then yeah, don't unnecessarily endure red just because Pookie's doing it. You know, like these have a lot of potential to come down very, very far. So don't do that to yourself, guys. You know, that's the crux of everything I teach here, is that you have to trade your own trades. I still see indicators here, like I still see the ask side stacked and all that. So I'm comfortable holding, but I don't want you guys to be, you know, 20% down and then, you know, just copying, because copying it's not good for anybody. You know, so how is XAGE doing? Oh, yeah. All right. So that kind of popped up at 827. So it popped over 8, and then it just kind of, it's retracing now, right? So you got a little bit of a pullback. MacHFDF, are we there yet? Not yet, sir. Maybe one day. One day we'll get there. All right. So at this point, we don't really want it to fall below like where the wick formed on this one. This is XAGE. So again, I can't trade this one. I don't have any settled cash on this account. Oh, sorry, I moved that. There we go. So 760 is the level. So if this can hold and stay above here, you probably see another new high on this one. So let's see where that one goes. And for KAPA, I'm just waiting for the volume. That's all. And if we don't get it, then I'll just stop out and we'll just take the hit. XAGE. Beautiful. All right. So here's the attempt. Let's see if it gets bought up or if they let it fall below 760 on XAGE. Nope, looks like, oh, there it goes. Let's watch. Is it going to be a slaughter? Is it going to be a murder fest? They're holding it up surprisingly well so far. Now that I've said it, that's probably going to slam down, but yep, there it goes. Okay, so at this point, we would have wanted to lock some profits. If you're in that one. I was not, obviously. Ramir, is it Ramir? Ramir. How do you pronounce the A? Question, XAGE, nice candle. Then to enter, we need to wait until we get back to 710. That kind of depends. You know, it depends on what your strategy is. If your strategy is literally just to enter when it breaks over 710, then that's going to be a different answer than if you're someone who's trading like a VWAP strategy or something. So it really just kind of depends. It also depends on where your risk is, or your risk cutoff. So for this one specifically, you know, I was pointing out the wick and the volume, the price action around that wick for this specific candle. Oh, like an E. Okay. Cool. I like that. Easy pronunciations. I like doing less work. All right. So let's check out CYCC. How's that one doing as well? All right. So this one also kind of pulled back. So it's kind of one of those mornings where the volume just kind of pushes in and pulls out really violently. So we got a lot of volatility this morning. So maybe I mistimed things a little bit, but that's okay. I'm still okay here. So in this case, if you're looking at XAG, geez, I can't talk. We do have a nice little retrace here. It did dip below the 61.8% just a little bit, but that 710 level lined up perfectly. So, you know, this is going to get a lot of bullish trading hype, right? A lot of people are going to view this as a confirmation that we're breaking out. And they're going to want it to go to a new high. But we also know that like 85% of the times we get to about here and then we fall back down. So, well, it's 11.8%, I think, is the fib that I personally like to look for. So let me just draw that really fast, 11.8. And that'll be top of this box right here. So for this, the safe, quote unquote, part of the trade will be from there to there. And then at that point, you'd probably want to at least secure a good chunk of the profits there. Charlie says, OMG, fib retrace question, drag from top to bottom or bottom to top, hardest time remembering. So this is where, like Austin and I have a heavy disagreement. And the reason, I think the reason for that is because of the end result, right? So if you are looking at, let me just draw it over here so there's no confusion. Okay, so if you're looking at an impulse and then you've got a retracement, okay? If you draw the tool from the bottom to the top, what you're measuring is the length of this line right here. This is the retracement, okay? Think about it like starting here as like being at a cabin in the woods in the winter, okay? You're walking out into the woods and then you're leaving footprints every time you take a step. And then to get back to that cabin, you just turn around and you follow your footprints back. You're retracing your steps, okay? So if you walk from here to here, let's say you walk a mile, right? And then you were to walk back a quarter mile, you'd be at this 25% retrace. Does that make sense? So you've retraced a quarter of what you've gone, a quarter of the distance you've gone. And then if you go here, half a mile, you've retraced half of the distance that you walked from the cabin. Okay. And then if you get all the way back to the cabin, you've retraced 100% of your distance there. Okay. So that's why I draw it in the direction of the impulse. That's how, like, classically it's intended to be used, but Austin draws it backwards. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter too much because you're either going to have, like, your range is going to look like that if you did it upside down. So if we draw this backwards, right? And I just draw it from here to there, where they overlap, like that's your 61.8 to 61.8 in both directions. So it really doesn't matter too much. You're just going to get the same things basically, but inverted. Oh, no, your cabin's on fire. Oh no. Duco, no. Let me erase this box too, because that didn't have any actual bearing on the stock. So it looks like we're getting a little bit of greenness in here. So, bullishness, because I have the white and red candles there. You know, this is not by any means confirmation that it's going to go all the way up. So we're just going to hang out and see where that goes. It could just be H-shaped continuation with a little pullback. But I do want to check CYCC because that one has, I want to see what the float on that is. Yeah, so it's less than 1 million float. Now they've got twice as many shares restricted as well. So if a stock like this wants to drop an offering, they can at any time, even if it's during a halt. So it could be like 4 minutes into a halt and they can drop an offering. So you have to be very careful with these low float, like super low float guys, because those can hurt you really bad. They can also drop and suspend for 2 weeks because they want to put out news or something. You know, it's any number of CEOs, CFOs can overreact to their own stock and hurt a lot of investors, and then company gets sued and all that stuff. So you gotta be very careful with that stuff when they start to halt. So that's why I like these little tiny profit ranges, like 3%, 6%, because the likelihood of you getting caught in a 2-week halt and then a delist, for example, is a lot lower. It's not zero, but it's a lot lower. And you just don't want that to happen. XAGE, let's take a look there. Snowflake says, I use AutoFib on TradingView because it is consistent and takes me out of the equation. Fair enough. Yeah. The less we can get ourselves, the less we get in our own way, the better off we tend to do in the market. The Mortgage Wizard, how can I access the Stocks Buddy trial? Can't seem to find it. Nick, are you able to hook him up with that? If you're in the chat there. What's up, Dorian? Dorian 184720. I don't know what combo that is, but hopefully I grouped the numbers the way you meant. 184720. I don't know. But glad you're here. How's it going? How long have you been in the market? Thank you, Nikki. Appreciate that. 867-5309. I did that when I went with my friend to go get a car. She needed a cosigner, and I went to go. Oh yeah, this one has been halted for more than 5 minutes. That's not good. CYCC, and the car dealer was asking for my phone number, and I did that. I said 518-867-5309. He was writing it down the whole time. No idea. He's completely clueless. It was great. That was my one moment where I got him. Yes. Got to do the click sound with your mouth or it doesn't count. I'm kind of interested in this one because it hasn't unhalted yet. It's been halted for almost 10 minutes here. And when that happens, you know, the market, it just means that someone at the exchange is probably manually reviewing this, and that, you know, they may adjust the threshold. But I don't see that happening for this one, because if we look over here, there's really no justification for that. Because it's not like a permanent change. It's probably just a news catalyst. Let's see here. They had their acquisition news, amendment to exchange agreement. That's all from earlier this month. Yeah, there's really not much going on other than this Series F preferred stock sale. And that was a week ago, over a week ago. So I think this is just a volume fellow there. Interesting. Duco, Charlie, I just tried calling you. You didn't answer. Ooh. She hates us, Duco. Yeah, that's what she said. She said she sent me a pretty long rant about it. All right, so this one's unhalted. Let's see what this one does. This is CYCC. Obviously, I'm not in this one, but this one did have that super low float, so I'm interested. Now we can kind of gauge the size of this candle here. It's a 7.77% candle in conjunction with this one that went up to 666 and then it halted. So combining the volume here, you've got just like 1.1 million. So we got to keep an eye on this volume for this type of stock, and we'll just see this candle already is 11%. So we'll keep an eye on the volume here. If it pops over the volume of this candle, yeah, okay, I was gonna say it's probably gonna halt again here pretty soon. That's this is interesting, because that means that they didn't adjust the threshold for the volume or the price range, because it's only 11%. But it immediately went into a halt. So I feel like the exchange is clamping down on this one pretty hard. So this company might end up with some sort of litigation or something. Something isn't within the bounds here. with the way that the exchange typically runs these halts. So it's interesting that they've got that much attention. This thing didn't have much volume pre-market. Had one big pop here around 8 o'clock for resolution, and then it had a massive move. When I say massive, I just mean like 20+% around 7 o'clock, just before 7 o'clock Eastern. And then yesterday, I'm sorry, early this morning, it popped and ran probably when Snowflake bought some. And then it went up 87% on less than 25K volume. So it's kind of interesting that, there's this much push and pull on this one, if that makes sense. Like it should just kind of be consolidating. It should either just be, kind of like this candle with a bunch of wick, or it should just be clear and directional and bigger. These three candles are roughly similar in size, these bullish candles here. But the volume is much, much bigger than the 4 o'clock candles. And then this one here, this happened on 500,000 volume. This was about 1.1 million. And then we're down here and we just halted on 300K. So hopefully I'm articulating that point clearly. But that kind of halt is kind of weird. It just kind of stands out, if that makes sense. Duco called 8675309. I think that used to be a number for a while. Depending on the area code you were in, you can get somebody on the phone. It was a prank line or something, but then I think it went to music. Derek Phillips on YouTube. Can you look at NVIDIA? It's playing at the 15-minute candle play we've talked about. Well, I'd like to learn more on that. Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and walk through that. So on the 15-minute chart, we're just going to draw that first candle's opening range. So we're just going to lock that, and that becomes the morning argument. Basically, the bulls and the bears are having their tiff. Then we've got a bearish breakout, so a close outside that range on the 5-minute, and then we come down here to the 1-minute, and we just look for an opportunity in that direction, and it can be in the box, out of the box, whatever. We just don't want it to go too far outside the box. So in this case, if we were to look, and let's just assume that the price went straight down here, we could then look for a opportunity to the downside out of that box. Now, the higher up into this box it goes, the less confident that trade becomes. So I don't want it to go more than maybe like a quarter of the way through the box, and even that's a pretty significant range. So we'll see where it goes. Now, if this candle here closes in the next 15 seconds or so as a bullish candle, then we can move this entry up to the bottom of that, and then we've got ourselves a different entry, a different risk range. Sorry. So there's that, and then let me just draw. Okay, so in this case, it closed kind of flat, so I'd still just use this this other candle here personally, but we'll see where it goes. If you wanted to take a riskier trade, you could use the bottom of this candle here, like you would be in at this point, with that as a stop loss. But I kind of just like this. It just has a little more confidence to the downside, because that means it has to already be kind of going down before we would have gotten in on that. So let me just move this back over here. And then there we go. So you would be in for a put on this one with this as a tentative target. And then, of course, the options aspect of that kind of makes it a little bit more nebulous, right? Because you've got the IV and the theta and all that. They're all going to factor into the value of the contract. So even if your equity analysis is correct and spot on and that hits its target or whatever, you still have to be careful with the option stuff, because the volume on those particular contracts or the expiration might just push the value of those contracts, up or down. So it's more or less efficient regardless of your analysis. So we'll see where it goes. It kind of looks like NVIDIA wants to recover, honestly, but the trade so far dictates movement to the downside to a new low. So we'll see which way it goes. And again, once you're in, that's all you can control. You don't control whether or not the price goes up or down. At that point, you only control whether or not you're in or out. So if we were to look at a contract, our entry would have been 169.75. So then we can come over here, we can look at the puts, and we can say, well, let's look at maybe the 170s, right? And let's see where we would have gotten in on that one. So that would have been on this candle here, 10 a.m. Let's draw that. So let's just assume that you would have gotten this situation right here. Now I'm just drawing these on here to illustrate the, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put the chart thingy here so you guys can kind of see them side by side. Now, if you're watching the live stream, this might cover it up. The camera might cover it up. So I'll try to move this as close as I can to the right side of that. Let me just check and see if that's going to cover. Okay. Yeah. So you guys should still be able to see that. And also let me close the calculator here. We don't need that up. And this should line up relatively closely. It's a 3-day expiration on the contract. So these expire on Friday. So we'll see if that's going to pull down and slam to a new low, or if it's going to recover and go to the upside and stop out. So we shall see. Now the stop loss on the contract here is kind of irrelevant. I'm just drawing, actually I should just draw this as a line. So I kind of just meant to do this as a, like here's the tentative target, tentative stop loss. So I'm going to erase this box because I don't want anyone to believe that that's like the end all be all. Because if you're basing your analysis on the price action here and not the contract, then that's what you'd go on. All right. So at this point, we just wait and see if it wants to go up or down. Babu Chris, done. I'm getting out of here. Thanks, Pookie. Have a great day. Let me pull it up on the stream. You got your 3.77% for the day. Woo-wee. Let's pull that up there. Good stuff, man. So you got your 42 AMD, 11 Tesla. You took like a combined size. So you kind of offset with NVIDIA there, and then AMD put you well over the top there. That's awesome, man. Congrats. Good stuff. But you got out 3.77% for the day, and you are good to go. You hate slippage? Yeah. Yeah, NVIDIA slippage got you. And that's you know, you're adding another link in the chain there, so it's going to be a little bit messy sometimes. Thanks, Derek. That was a good catch, man. It was a good catch. You're still happy with your late? Yeah, that's. You can't buy peace of mind, sir. You can protect it while you have it, but you can't go out and buy it. I mean, you can buy momentary peace of mind. That's good stuff. So you were nice and confident in those trades. You had a nice clean setup on that. I love it. He says, yep. All right. Good stuff, man. Penny up and confidence in those trades. Beautiful. So you had nice, small, defined risk. You had a nice, confident, disproportionately larger take profit. You acted when it was time to act. You got in and out. You prioritized your eliminating your risk exposure, and you walked away with your target hit for the day. Your biggest rule is put your stop loss right away. That's good stuff. Yeah. So don't avoid losses. You know, just manage them, right? And since you're trading naked options, you kind of have to do that efficiently, right? Nice. I like that emoji. The lip bite. Good stuff. Hey, Death Gun, what's going on, buddy? How are you feeling? Are you did you work last night? Are you exhausted? Catch up on this. Ethan, I'm not sure what you mean if you're in here and you just DM me. I don't know what that means, buddy. Let me see if he's in here. I don't see him in here. I have to respond to that DM real fast. You just said yes till 8 p.m. No idea what that means. He's crazy. Oh, you were off last night. Okay. Halfway through your weekend, your girlfriend came and hung out for a few hours. Not too tired today. Good stuff, man. Have you traded anything yet? Did you use all your buying power? I do have to jump off here pretty soon. I have a call coming up here in, well, about 4 minutes ago. I just realized it was after 10. I will update everybody on my KAPA trade throughout the day if it doesn't move, or if I decide to cut it, or if it moves up and hits my profit, I'll let you guys know either way. And then for NVIDIA here, just, I mean, we got the setup, right? We still got the setup. We can follow up on this throughout the day as well. And then if we do stop out, right, the rule here is that we get one other opportunity for a breakout, or if it pushes too high up, right? Because we have the stop loss here, which means if the stop loss gets hit, that means that the price automatically went up higher. So we typically get 2 attempts of a breakout, and then we have to wait for another 5 candle close if that is if that's not met. We wait for another 5 candle close in that same direction or the other direction, and then we start the process all over again on the 1 minute. Does that make sense? So in this case, it looks like we would have just stopped out of that one. Okay, and that would have been what, like a 10% loss on that? Let me see here. 7.28% loss. So not bad for an NVIDIA contract, right? But that's kind of my rule, though, is I just get 2 attempts to break out. Otherwise, I got to wait for another 5-minute candle to close. Deathgun says, still setting up my Webull calculator, making sure I'm all good to trade. I wish Webull had a calculator widget built in. Like, I don't understand why they don't. I feel like they'd instantly become one of the most popular platforms on the planet if they just had like a little calculator widget. But they've got bigger fish to fry, I guess. Sounds good. Be safe, and you can blame me for your latest. No, I'm good. We're good. I will absolutely throw you under the bus, though, just for fun. Like, not for any reason, not to excuse my own lateness, but just for fun. You'd be like, oh man, it was that Deathgun again. Yeah, Charlie, that'd be pretty cool too. If the notes tab inserted a timestamp. I think there's some platforms out there that do that. There's some like trading journal sites that connect to your broker. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think there's a good one that maybe Master uses, I think. But no, that'd be a pretty cool feature. Derek Phillips on YouTube says, were you looking at the bottom wicks and knew it may recover? Are you talking about the NVIDIA? Yeah, so there, you just have a little bit of buying pressure here. And again, it's still, there's still potential for it to push down and break out. So you get that one extra opportunity there. And then after that, I personally like to look for another candle close on the 5-minute outside that range. Because I want to make sure it's got direction and intent down here. I don't want it to do one of these, like a little sine wave, because that's typically what will burn you more. So I just kind of limit those to 2, and then I look for a candle close in the direction, because if the candle closes like right here, for example, I can't draw. I hate Webull so much. Sorry, let me just go back over here. I'll just erase all this. So if your candle close intention was to have it like down here, for example, and it just kind of does one of these, that's not a very confident trade in that case. What we'd really like to see is for this level to absolutely get destroyed. That's what's going to make you the money. It's not going to be these little kind of weak attempts. It's going to be the strong, deliberate moves. And that's really what I look for in the market, is just those clear displacements. I don't really like to deal with the sideways, the chop, and the puttering around. And I am taking a bigger risk here on KAPA. But that's, again, because if I look at the long term here, we're still in an overall longer impulse, and it should have sold off more, in my opinion, by now. But that volume has to come back. Otherwise, I might have to just cut this one. And in that case, I've taken a risk. I've acknowledged it ahead of time. I'm personally comfortable with it, but I understand if anyone else would not want it to be, then that's where stop losses up here would come in. Or, smaller position sizes. I am being very aggressive on this account. And that's my personal approach. So I don't want anyone here to try to copy that. But if this sells off, more, then I won't want to be in it. It's just one of those things where I have my own approach, and that approach kind of requires that I accept the risk and that I don't let it destroy me psychologically. Because if I do, then what's to stop the next trade from doing the same? So in this case, I'm comfortable still. In the case of NVIDIA, I would not be. Right, because there's a lot more risk on the line with NVIDIA because that same contract there, instead of stopping out at 253, now you're done 235. So not the end of the world, but it did come all the way down to 225, which turns a 7% risk into a 17% risk. And on contracts specifically, because they are more expensive, you've got a lot more influence there over your decision making, and also it makes it even harder for contracts to recover. Like contracts, so let's say you've got a price. I do have to jump off here pretty soon, but let's say you've got a price that kind of, it's a put, right? So you want it to go down, but let's say it goes up first. Let me move this up here. Let's say the share price goes up and then comes down to right where it started from. The chart itself would kind of look like this, and then your profit on that would probably look like that. So it doesn't quite get up to the level, despite the price action being exactly where it started. The contract is going to lose value. This gap here is because of the IV and the theta, right? So the contract's going to decay over time, and it's also going to have a fall off because of the implied volatility or the forecasted potential of that contract. Does that make sense? And that gap right there is your efficiency gap. So the contracts themselves are going to lose value. So let me erase all that. So unfortunately, I do got to jump off of here. And again, I will keep you guys updated in the free chat for the KAPA trade. And again, you guys see all my trades. I'm doing this all transparently. So I get what I get here on this. And I will catch up with you guys. Let me just grab that next event here. We got the spread trading. So if you're in Bull's coaching program or premium, you get access, or sorry, just in premium, I apologize. You get access to his 3 o'clock Eastern spread trading live stream, and then trading psychology in the group session. Trading psychology group session, the words, and the book club at 5 o'clock Eastern with Nikki right here in this channel in Discord. So again, I'll put that link here in the socials. So if you're not in the Discord, come join us, check that out. Otherwise, we'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Not in the free section, but in premium. Mad Maverick's going to do the market open live trade, and we'll see you guys there. So thank you all. Let me close down the live streams and stuff. I'll be here in the Discord with you guys for a second.